how can we drink coffee and we have not resolved? How'd you do that?
It's just you wanted a joint account. I didn't want a joint account.
We're married. Who doesn't have a joint account when you're married?
I didn't want a joint account.
I didn't know how to say sorry. And do you get taught how to say sorry? Like,
why are you crying?
Who asked somebody, why are you crying? Because surely you're going to cry more.
So I'm asking, why are you crying?
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're doing something slightly different, and I have, again, on the channel, my husband, and we are doing something different. We're talking about the differences between men and women, because my goodness, this is all the stuff I wish people would have told me before I got married, because there are differences between men and women, and I found that out, believe it or not, when I got married. I always knew, but it really hit home when I got married that men and women are very, very different. And in light of International Women's Month, at the time of recording this video, we're in March, and there's a lot about women empowerment. So I thought it'd be really cool to talk about men and women and some of the differences, and hopefully it'll be some interesting conversations. So welcome again to my husband. Welcome back. You were on here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. On the Valentine's special.
If you haven't watched it, watch the Valentine's video it was about how my husband swiftly left the friend zone. And today we're talking about relationships and the differences between men and women.
Yep.
How are men and women different? And I think there are lots of things that we can touch on, but let's start maybe with communication.
That's a hard one. In terms of what we're discussing is just that everyone is different. Whatever I've gone through is different from what other men have gone through. Whatever she's gone through is different from what women have gone through. So this is just us sharing our experiences. And some people may see themselves in these experiences. Some people may not see themselves in those experiences. So we're just sharing. In terms of communication, for me personally, I like communicating everything in detail. If I'm going to buy something, I'm going to tell you that we're going to buy this, and this is what it's going to be, and this is how much it's going to cost. For you, I don't know whether it's different.
I think that's different though. I feel like naturally men aren't communicative or don't communicate things. They're more so listeners and don't really speak as much. Naturally, I feel like women talk a lot more and communicate a lot more about everything.
It depends on what it is. If you're telling me something, for example, we're going on holiday, or let's go to this holiday, what do you think about this place? Then it's quite different, because for me personally, I'll say, let me think about it. Yeah. Let me think about it. For us, it's different. For other men, I don't know. For me, it's different because I have to think about it. I almost have a mental plan. Okay, if you're going to go to this place, what do we require? All these things. But the thing for me I was struggling is that I wouldn't come back to you and give you my response of what I thought about it. I have my own mental meeting up there in my mind. Then all of a sudden you come back to me a week later or 2 weeks later, you ask me, how far with this? Then we have to restart the process again. But for other men, it's different. Other men you tell them this, then they quickly do this. But for me, I'm a person who literally thinks about things before. For example, when we wanted to go to Turkey, you said, let's go to Turkey. Yeah, I just started thinking, I need to think about this Turkey thing. I've never been to Turkey. What is it going to be like? What language do they speak? All these things. Whereas you just wanted to go on holiday. You just wanted to catch the plane the next day. So that was the difference.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I'm one of those, and I think it's a lot of women that I know are very think about something and then do. Whereas naturally, I find men process things a lot more. And I will come to you, and the moment I'm thinking it's oh, it's already done, or oh, done deal. We'll talk about it. We're gonna plan it, and it's done. And then I actually remember getting married, and I'd come to you for something, and you'd be like, let me think about it. I'm like, this is a whole plan. It's already in place. What do you think? Like, what is there to think about? What are you thinking about? And then like a week later, I'm like, oh yeah, you said you're gonna think about it. Like, how far? And you're like, what was the thing I was thinking about again? And I'm like, so this whole week has gone by and you haven't thought about it. And I'm like trying to understand what is the process when men say, because you're not the first time I've heard somebody say this. When men say, I need to think about it, like what exactly what's there to think
Pros
about?
and the cons. You think basically you're getting all the information because you come to me. Let's go to Turkey, just like that. Let's get the tickets. Let's go. I'm thinking, I'm literally processing what's the pros, what's the cons, what's this, what's that, because you're going with an entire family to a country that you have never been to. So you're thinking all these things, but throughout the week, sometimes you think about these things, then you forget completely because your mind is now occupied. Just me personally, your mind gets occupied with other things. Now, when you come back with this thing, you'll be like, oh, what happened to this thing? Are we still going? I'm like, oh yeah, remind me again. But the thing for me, my process is like I weigh in the options. I don't just think about something, then do it. I'm different. Other men might be different. Some other men, they just do it, think and do it. Before even, for example, purchasing a camera, I'll go through a thinking process. Like, is it really worth it? Is it going to work the way I want it? Because in the past, you would get something, then you end up regretting, like a buyer's remorse, where you buy something, then you instantly regret it the moment you get it. But for me, I'm a person who's like, I have to think about these things.
I've definitely had to learn that though. Like learning that one of the differences is the moment I've said it and I've purposed in my heart, like it's already a done deal and I'm doing it. Whereas men are like process driven and have to go through this process of I'm gonna think, I'm gonna prepare or whatever men discuss and then make a decision. So those are like differences. And I think if you don't understand that, that's where a lot of clashing or a lot of miscommunication or disagreements can come in because one's process driven and another's like, let's go tomorrow, let's do it. And then if you don't understand or don't communicate and understand each other there, it can definitely lead to issues.
Yeah, something like that. For example, let's say for your studio, for your YouTube studio, you wanted a monitor thing. I showed you this thing on Instagram. It's like a stand where you put a TV. So you wanted this thing. You quickly purchased it.
No, you literally showed me on Instagram.
I showed you, then you
like
purchased.
An hour and a half later, I bought the thing.
You bought the thing, but you didn't get enough information about it.
I didn't get the right thing. I just went on Amazon and bought a thing that I thought looked like it.
Yes, then you bought it, then you realize you actually need a TV that works with it. And the TV that you don't need is not a monitor because you thought that you could put the monitor there because we have a computer monitor. You thought that, but you realize that at the back of the monitor, it doesn't have the attachments for a TV. So now you've got this thing that you're stuck with it. Whereas if you showed me, then you said, okay, can we get this one? Then I'll be like, but it needs a TV. That's where my thinking process comes in. It needs a TV and a TV needs this and a TV. Just like if you tell me to go and drill a wall and put a picture frame, some of these walls are so thin. So if you tell me, let's just go, with you would have got the drill. You would have started drilling.
Been and done it. I would have done it. You find me.
Then you have holes all over the house. But whereas me, I have to research, okay, the walls are thin. What do we need for the walls? Just like the wallpaper that's right now in the back right now. If it was you would have put the wallpaper. But for me,
the moment I had the thought and the idea, I'd have gone to the shop and done it.
But for me, I had to research and understand what sort of material do you need for this wallpaper. I've never put a wallpaper before. I've never done this. And it took like almost like a month to put this wallpaper because you told me about it. But then you started saying, oh, maybe if I get some other guy, he can do it.
I was like, we could just get someone to come in and do it. And you're like, no, I'll do it. And then a whole month passes by and I'm like, every day I'm itching because I'm like, no, my husband said he's going to do it. My husband said he's going to do it. And I'm like resisting the itch to go and do it or like go and buy the thing and try and do it myself. But I was like, no, he said he was going to do it. Leave him to it.
But eventually in the end, I did it and it's been 4 years. It's been stuck on the wall.
But it took a whole month.
It took a whole month because I had to process. And I have other things that are happening in life. And I had to process. For me, I have to process what sort of material do you need? Is that material long lasting? Because whatever I'm thinking,
I wouldn't have thought.
I'm thinking ahead in time. Because I don't want to get something, then 3 weeks down the line, the wallpaper is falling. So that's where
And I would have never thought about that.
That's where
I
my
would have just bought.
thinking process comes in. If you're going to get this thing somewhere down, because the way I've lived life is completely different from what other men, some other men would have put it in the next day, their wife said it. But for me, not saying that it's good to wait for a month. What I was saying is that other things was happening in that time, in that period of time, and my mind wasn't focused on wallpaper. But now that wallpaper is on, in other things, my process is always that if we're going to get this thing, what's the beneficial? What's the pros and cons? If you're going to get a camera to shoot your YouTube video, if you're going to get the DJI Osmo Pocket, what do you need? What are the requirements? Whereas you just get it. Because your mindset is like, you go, you get it.
Boom. Mm-hmm. And I don't think this is like subjective to us, because I hear a lot of like other women like, oh, I've asked my husband to do this and they're taking forever to do it, to the point where it's like months and then the woman ends up doing it. How do you then like balance between a woman's fast-paced by nature? A woman is like, see it, think it, do it.
I don't know about think it. There's some thinking process there, but it's not in depth.
No,
it's not in depth thinking. It's not in depth thinking.
I think enough, but I don't like sit there doing a SWOT analysis about strengths and the weaknesses. I think, okay, this sounds like a good idea. This is what I could do. These are the opportunities. Let's do it. And then you trial and error as you're going along. I don't sit there and wait for 3 years, planning and over planning and strategic. I do as I go and plan as I go sometimes. I'm very big on planning.
That's why God created us differently, because God gives us the woman as the helper, the one who's supposed to help the men. There are certain things that us as men, we struggle with, where we lack. And this is where you come in and you help us in those situations where we lack. Whereas for other men, there's always the independent man, independent woman, all that, blah, blah. But I'm talking about people who are married. For me, I think, like what I've said in this video again and again, I think about the process. I process things. I just don't rush to do things. Let's say if we say, let's go to this place, or let's go to a venue, or let's go to this, like in Turkey, you say, let's go to this massage parlor. You're like, it's good, let's go. I'm not going to explain in details, but we went into this place, we walked around, and I was like, let's not go. Because every room that we were looking through, it was just weird. It was just creepy and strange. And the people were massaging there, looking at you like, I was like, nah. And the worst thing was that the people at the entrance now kept on forcing us, like, come on, you need to try it. I was like, nope. Because we'd gone in, I'd observed, processed the whole entire thing. Whereas if a person didn't think, because that time we went as one, if you didn't think, you'd just be there.
I'd had a massage. If you were not there, probably would have had that massage. But it was a bit weird. Now that it was very strange. Okay. So I think you're right. I think we need each other, but sometimes in the we needing each other, there's like a refining of you processing, but also like moving things along. So there's a balance. So there's strengths. Because to be honest, I feel like if you were not there, I probably would have sold this house. I'd be traveling the world, living in a caravan somewhere. Because I'm like, sounds like a great idea. But there are times where you'll like pull me back, like, have you thought about this? Or have you thought about this? And I'm like, no, I haven't. And then you're like, okay, let's sit down and plan and prepare and do all of these things. Whereas me, I'm like ready to sprint. I'm ready to go.
That's the thing. That's where God gives us with strength and weaknesses, and my weakness may be your strength, your weakness may be my strength. This is why we join together, then we begin to move as a unit. For example, you're quick at doing things. If you say, I want to start a YouTube channel, there, boom. But for a YouTube channel, it took you time to start. Never mind. It took her time to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah, but that's different.
I was the one who was even pressuring her to start a YouTube channel.
You were. You forced me to start.
The fact that I had to forcefully buy a camera,
You forced me to record my first episode. You were there literally.
Record.
Like record. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like I had to forcefully, because there's a potential in you that you yourself couldn't see.
No.
It's the same way. My style, for example, I can use my style of dressing. When you met me, I used to dress weird.
You did.
But you saw the potential in me, and you had to help me because me, I can just wear a tracksuit. I don't care.
I remember, sorry, I still have to tell the story. I remember we went up for lunch or something one time. I think it was the first time when we went to Birmingham. Do you remember that? Do you remember that?
Anyway, that's for another time.
Oh, I have to. Okay.
I just wore some weird green top.
And the thing is, you actually thought like you bought a new outfit for a date.
For me, it was
with a potential date. Bought a whole new outfit. A whole new outfit. And that outfit, and I remember seeing you from the window, and I saw you, and I was like, that outfit is not nice. Respectfully speaking, the outfit wasn't nice.
But it was on point for me because I didn't care at that moment. It's just this green thing, this green jumper. I still have that green
army
jumper.
guy. No, I've been that thing.
No, I still have it.
The green, the thing with the thing?
Yeah, I still have the green jumper. It was a green jumper. I thought.
And like green jeans.
I was looking on point. Green looking like the army general, but she didn't like
Sergeant Major coming through.
She didn't like it, and it's one of those things where sometimes it's like I elect in terms of, even sometimes for me, fashion and all that, it's not my thing. But for her, fashion is her thing. So that's...
I wouldn't say it's my thing though. I just like...
There are men who like dressing on point. There are men who like some dude I used to work with. He used to have a haircut like every single week. I used to say, dude, how do you do this? Like every single week I'm at the barbershop every Friday. There are people like that. That's their interest. If it was for me, if it was cars, if it was cameras, then that's my interest. But things like fashion and all that stuff, that's your interest. And we used to clash because I just want to look basic. We're going for a meal. You want to dress up like Cinderella. I just want to look like...
Cinderella.
just basic. But it's one of those things now I'm having to learn. It took time. And whenever you tell me, you used to annoy me.
So you say annoy? What? Like let's dress up.
But for me, I didn't care. But now, as I'm maturing, I realize that this is what I liked. This is my weakness. And you're now helping me. And yeah.
Okay. Let's talk finances.
I think this video will have to be part 2. In terms of finances...
Differences between men and women, finances.
For me personally, it may be different. Some women may be budgeters.
Are you trying to say I'm not a budgeter?
They know how to budget. It depends on who it is. For me, the way I was brought up is way different. If you give me £1,000...
Keep that money. It's not locked up in a safe.
If you give me £1,000, I tell you that £1,000 will cover the bills. And by the end of the month, we still have something left. That's my mentality. It's not like I was too... Because at first you thought I was frugal. Is that the word?
I mean, can I say stingy? Stingy.
She thought I was stingy. She thought I was stingy because
there's money there.
She thought I was holding on. But for me, I'd already processed. I've already gone ahead. I've already seen that next month, if we don't save up, if we don't budget, next month we are going to be in the same situation, struggling. Like, what can we do? Like when she was pregnant with our first son, there was one time where we struggled. God kept us. This is where faith comes in. God really kept us. We struggled to the point where you said that you wanted to
get back to work.
You wanted to go back to work. Because we would use up our money, we'll buy takeaway, we'll do this. We were not managing.
On maternity leave?
No.
Not when I was on maternity
But
leave.
we were not budgeting properly. We were not budgeting properly.
And we had literally just got married.
And
we had literally just got married and then got into a new house, trying to fix a new house, and then be on maternity. And that was a tough time. And
basically, as she's saying that we just got married, basically the year before we did our traditional church blessing, then the year after we did the
white wedding.
The white wedding. So the white wedding, by the time we had the white wedding, you're already pregnant. because we had a process in order to get the house. Then after that, that's another story.
Just found out I was pregnant the week of the wedding.
The week of the white wedding.
Crazy. Yeah.
So now she's pregnant. Then she goes into maternity. I'm doing the job that I'm doing. Then the maternity, you get paid. But the mistake we made is that we were not saving our money.
We just got married. There was nothing to save.
So we just thought we planned. But for me, my mind was trying to kick in like, we need to save because in the next month, we're going to struggle. But you're just like, life is for living, my guy. Life is for living, my guy.
I used to say that all the time. Well, no, okay. So I feel like marriage is two people coming from completely different places with completely different backgrounds, completely different stories and ideologies. The way you grew up and the way I grew up are completely different. Your beliefs about money, about communication are very, very different, right? So when, like, I grew up with the expectation that money comes and money goes. Like, there's always going to be more. You spend it and more comes. And I got into marriage with the mindset of you spend it and more is going, like money will always come.
But for me, it was
cycling.
different. For me, it was like,
you were like, you do not let go of that money, come rain, come thunder. And I always say, you could be a millionaire and no one will ever know. No one will ever know. You would just have it and you wouldn't change your lifestyle. You wouldn't change your dressing. You would change nothing.
Do you know the reason why? Because I grew up with a single parent. My father passed away at a young age. So being raised by your mother, you begin to see how your mother, even with the less that she had, she'll be able to look after us with the less that she had. So that was drilled in me so much that I realized that I don't care about some people that have money, they splash. But we struggle to the point where even with the little that God has blessed us, then begin to manage, begin to look ahead. Though at that time it looked to you like I was being stingy. Until now,
there were times where you were being like
until now, because at that time you didn't understand my thought process properly.
No, I didn't.
Until now, you are in maternity. They stopped paying you your maternity leave. You are now in statutory pay, and statutory pay is not even money. And we have to pay.
Scam.
We have to pay rent. We have to pay this. We have to pay that.
And we've got builders coming fixing the house.
We got builders coming fixing the house. That's another story.
Yeah, we had builders coming in. And there was a lot going on. And then we just found out we were pregnant. But anyway, differences between men and women in finances. You're more the saver. And are you saying I'm a spender then? What are you saying? I don't know how to save money.
Yeah.
I don't know how to save money.
You know how to save money, but you save money when you want to save money. But you just always have this terminology that life is for living, my guy.
Life is for living, my guy.
So I think over time, you're beginning to see that life is for living, but you have to use wisdom.
I think there's definitely balance because I always say, I go to work, like we go to work. I am not going to forego certain things in life in the name of like the balance. I always say balance. It has to balance. Yeah. And that's where we both then come together and we're like, okay, I could spend it all. I like a nice, and also me, when I'm spending money, I'm not spending money on me. I'm spending money on the house, the children and other things. As a wife and as a mother, a lot of my responsibility is looking after the house and you as well. You just come home and things are there. Like, it's making sure that the house is running, everyone has what they need, and the house looks nice. Is to make a house a home. So it's not I'm splashing cash. I'm investing in our home, in our children, and each other. And that includes going on dates and going on holidays and all of those things, which is more what I do. So it looks like I'm spending a lot of money, but really, it's investing in our life.
I think because the way you spend is quite different. You may say, let's buy this table. And I'm like, why do we need this table? It doesn't even make sense. Then later down the line, because I'm so annoyed you bought this table now. I'm annoyed. Then later down the line, I'll be like, yeah, this table.
This is a nice table. It looks great.
That's the thing. I'm like, oh, this is a nice table. This is so cool. So it's almost like now because we are balancing, you're beginning to think ahead. the same way I was thinking ahead, but you would think ahead, but later down the line, whatever you were thinking ahead actually makes sense. Like, why did you buy this table? Why did you buy this microwave? Why did you buy this? Because me, I'm thinking, well, why did you buy this? We should have bought this that's needed at that time. But you were buying looking ahead. So it's almost like we don't spend money to splash money to, because one thing I've learned, when you now have children, your life, yes, your life is your life, but you have to understand that you are raising up children, and I would want my children to enjoy their life. I don't want them to go through whatever I went through. I want them to, when they grow up, and say that we lived in a good home. So if I'm going to splash money, I'm going to splash money for my children. That's been my mindset.
I think one of the other differences between men and women, or between maybe husbands and wives, is one thing, you're more like protective, and you're more like, you look at how to protect your family and how to protect your children always. Like, even like, I always call him the security man, because he's always doing the security checks and checking like wherever we go, like checking the environment to make sure everyone's safe. And they're like, la 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 la, like, I'm so oblivious to a lot of things. I'm just like, my father used to be the head of the home, and then he gave me over to my husband, and now, like, I never have to think about safety or worry about other things. I'm like, that's my husband. Like, my husband's got that.
But it's just you thing. Because if you were
Is that
to
a me thing?
if you were to
Is that
go
a me
to
thing?
if you were to go to Turkey by yourself, I tell you, your passport will be just be there on the table. Your things will be there. For me,
Is that a me thing?
I don't know. Maybe it's a you thing. For me, literally, the moment we enter our hotel room, where is the safety thing? Where do we lock? Is
I
the
don't think
door
about that.
safe to lock? Is this, that? Even if people are coming, when you say, oh, let the cleaners just come and clean, me, I have to make sure that I put my stuff, because I don't want people tampering with my stuff.
This is the thing, I don't think about those things. And I never think, and even if I do think about, like, that's a you thing.
Yeah,
You think about all of these things that I don't think about for safety and like precaution. I never think about those things. Never. And I don't think I ever have.
It's just, I think is one thing that's still in the process.
Even when you tell me that I need to, because I'm like so oblivious to a lot of
I'll
things.
tell you, if you go in an environment, make sure you look around the environment. Don't just.
I do that when you're not there. When you're not there, that's when I'm like, okay, I have to. You're very aware of your environment.
I'm 100% aware of my environment, and I will tell you what I saw, what this person did, and what this person was going to do, because we don't walk as blind people. We're spiritual people, so you have to be aware of your environment.
I like that. You taught me that. I didn't know that.
You just have to be aware of your environment, because if you're not aware of your environment, then you're going to put yourself in danger.
Okay.
So that's why you have to be aware of your environment. You can't go to places and people now start touching your hair and you're just there. Then you be like, then you realize this person is not a right person.
You're right. So as we round up, differences between men and women. What else?
I would say emotions.
Emotions. Okay. Go. What's the difference?
It took me time to realize that women are emotional creatures. As men, they're not emotional creatures.
Irrational, logical.
Women, this is just what I've discovered. It's not all women, because I know some people end up in the comment section and say, I'm not like that. I'm not talking about you. This video is not for you. But it's just like, as a man, you begin to realize that, just like when I look at my daughter, she's like a true picture of her mother. She wants her father to be there. She wants basically the love that her father. This is why some women, sometimes when they don't get the love from their father, when they grow up, they end up getting love from the wrong guy. And they end up in a messed up situation because they're just seeking that love. And it took me time to realize that, because I'll be like, why are you so emotional? Why are you so this? Why are you so? Because I was trying to see her from the way that I see myself.
We're very different.
Not understanding that we are literally
Worlds apart.
worlds apart. Like, why are you crying?
Who asked somebody, why are you crying?
'Cause-
Surely you're gonna cry more.
So I'm asking, why are you crying? Like, so it has taken me time. Now I'm able like to understand your emotions, just like how the Bible says that live with them with understanding. It took me time to understand that scripture, that we have to live with women with understanding because they are delicate creatures. God has created them in a different way as from us men. They came from the rib, so they are molded differently. The way, just like an egg, you wouldn't get an egg and you begin to dash it all around, it will smash. Same as women's emotions. I'm not saying that they're like an egg, but it's
Yeah,
just
I'm an egg. I'm a delicate
it's
flower.
just that you have to deal with the emotions differently. And as a man, if you don't get that in your mind, it will literally destroy your marriage. Because you start thinking like, at the end of the day, the woman is not like your brother. I can disagree with my brother. We don't talk for 2 minutes. Next minute, we're chilling, we're drinking coffee together. But just make a mistake where you disagree with your wife, then you think you can now talk to her and drink coffee. It doesn't work.
We must resolve it now. We must talk about it. We can talk about it.
You can't drink coffee you want. Now, the problem is that if you don't resolve that thing, then you just drink coffee, then that thing builds up over time. This is why you get stuff from 2015. It should tell you on 2015.
On this day, you were wearing this,
you did this, you said this, you done that, because you haven't resolved what was supposed to be resolved, which is why as men, we have to understand women. Because the way you treat the person that you're married to, look at the way you treat, for example, if you have a daughter, you want your daughter to be protected, you want your daughter to be loved. Your daughter is requiring that security from her father. She knows that my father will always protect me, my father will always love me. Same as the woman, you've taken her from her father's house. So now you're gonna have to have that responsibility. I'm not saying father your wife, no. I'm just saying that you have to look after her. She left that house 100%. She comes to you. She should be in your house 100%.
I think communication is very big when talking about emotions, because something can happen, but then if we don't talk about it or communicate, I think that's when the issues lie. So having a space in marriage of being able to say, right, this, you said this and that really bothered me, or you did this, or this happened and I didn't like that. Being able to communicate that and then moving past that and resolving that, as opposed to not resolving that and then just burying it under the head of that. Like you said, I can't drink. How can we drink coffee and we have not resolved? How'd you do that?
It's just,
how'd you do that?
The thing is that the way you resolve things, you say, okay, safe, you're done. Whereas there's no that sitting down and literally having a conversation and say, you know what? You hurt me when you say that in the shop. When I was in front of people, you said this that was very offensive and I didn't like it. Whereas some would take it as like, you know what, that's nothing, but it was offensive. Let's say if you're around other people, then I say a comment that is very offensive. But for me, I don't see it as very offensive. Then now we're going back, you're just like grumpy, not talking to me. Then I just start saying, oh, why are you angry? Why are you annoyed? But it's me as a husband. Now I have to have like, I have to be sensitive, to be convicted to the point where I realize, oh, I said this to you. That was very offensive. Forgive me for what I've said.
Do you know what? You are the first person who taught me how to say sorry. And the importance of saying sorry in a marriage is huge. I don't think I'd ever said sorry before we got married. Like, it's a lump on my throat like this. Like, so what? I didn't know how to say sorry. And do you get taught how to say sorry? Like, I grew up with two brothers, and like you said, I was I was one of the boys. Me and my brothers would disagree, and then next thing he'd come in the room, go on, safe. Do you want to go get some food? And we're done. Like, we're resolved. No, there was no sorry. No one ever said sorry. So getting married, I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to say, like you say, sorry. What is, oh, like it literally for a very long time. It just it just so you taught me how to say sorry.
But it took you time.
It did, but I learned.
For me personally, saying sorry is something that I learned when I got saved. I realized that life, basically, the life that God gives us, you have to always, the Bible talks about that, live at peace with all men. And it talks about without holiness, no one will see God. So it's just to be aware that you can do things, you can offend people, and you have to apologize. And I had to go through tough training because I would offend people. Let's say when I was in college, I would offend people. Then I want to move away from the people. I'll say, I'll never talk with this person. Then the Holy Spirit would convict me. Then I'll just go and apologize. As much as it sounded like I was being dumb because they offended me, I'm going to apologize. But what I didn't know, by doing that, when you humble yourself and you say, you know what, I know we disagreed. I'm sorry if I did things that caused you to then offend me, but let's resolve. From there, what I learned is that that person, later on, they will be convicted. They'll come then and apologize. Because we never know when we will leave the earth. What's the point of you being in grudge with people? Then not something bad happens, then you die. And you die without forgiving a person, or you die in bitterness. So it's one of those things I have to go through a process. It's not just, I'm saying to you, say sorry, say sorry. No, it's like, why are you saying sorry? That's one of the other reasons. Like our children, we have taught them, like if they bother each other, they have to say sorry to each other and say why you're saying sorry. Because you have to understand, because if you don't understand why you're doing what you've done wrong, you just say sorry.
It doesn't mean anything. Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. And this is where you used to find it difficult when I was saying say sorry. I'm not saying just to say sorry.
We didn't say sorry. Like obviously,
you have to understand, like, why are we apologizing to each other?
Yeah.
Because if we do not resolve that, then that thing builds up over time.
And that's one thing I love actually, because our kids are very good at saying apologizing and saying why, and then like they'll hug each other after. But I never learned. No one taught me how to say sorry. Like growing up, it wasn't a thing.
No one taught me.
Or the understanding of
for me, that revelation came when I got saved. When God saved me. Before, I used to have grudge with people, and I would not talk to people. I'll cut them off.
I'd cut you off very quick.
But because of the Holy Spirit, He's our comforter, He's our teacher, He's our counselor. He then begins to convict you in certain areas in your life. Like what I'm saying to you, some people may say, oh, that was your conviction, but you have to understand that when you now begin to walk in the light of God will expose you to certain things that you cannot no longer hold grudges. Jesus says that love one another. We should love the Lord our God with all our hearts, with all our minds, with all our soul, and we should also love one another. So it's not something where you can say, I can then hold grudges, because when you now begin to hold grudges, especially in a situation like a marriage, in a relationship, in a marriage, if you then begin to hold grudges, it's like it hinders your prayers. It blocks your prayers. And God will not answer those prayers. No matter how much you can, if she's annoyed with me and me, I'm fine with it, and I'm saying, oh God, please, this, God will just block the prayers. It's simple as that. God will literally block the prayers. And if it's the other way around, still God will block the prayers, because we have to be in unity. That's why the devil always fights marriages. He doesn't want people to be united, doesn't want people to communicate. He wants people to argue, wants people to fight. And if you look at the things that people are fighting for, it's over.
It's usually the small things.
Yeah,
it's like the small things.
You didn't wash the plate. Why you didn't wash the plate?
Yeah. It's never really
then
like
all of a sudden people become angry of each other about washing the plate, or why you didn't listen to me when I told you not to buy that pot. Now you bought that pot. Whereas what I learned, I disagree. Okay, why did you buy the pot? It bothers me, then I move on. Now I'm the person now using the pot. But I never got to the level where now I'm so annoyed. Now I'm using that pot. Now that pot is being used against you. You're always buying pots. You're always doing this. You're always doing that. Now I'm beginning to almost like, if you ever observe our marriage, I've never said a negative word about you. No matter how, I may get annoyed about the pot, but I'm not going to come and then begin to speak death into you.
Like you're this, you're that, you're
Like
what,
you're
you're what,
useless,
you're what.
you are what.
Never.
I've
Not one day.
never, because death and life are in the power. Death and life is in the power of the tongue. Or death and life are in the power of the tongue. So what you say with your mouth, it literally affects the person. So that's why I'll be annoyed about the pot. Then I'll just move on. I'm now the person who's like, yo, this pot, oh, how come you didn't tell me about this pot? This pot is cool. So it's all about maturity. Whereas if it's not maturity, then it will be pride. It will be your ego. You're too prideful. So that's why in marriage we may have differences as men and women, but we have to get to a point where we understand each other and understand that each one's weakness, you may have a weakness, I may have a strength, but they should all work together.
And I think that's a good place to stop, actually, is you as a man or as a husband, you have a role and you have a part and you've got things that you're really good at. And also equally, you've got things that are a weakness to you. Naturally, to me, as a woman, there are things that I'm naturally good at that you're not. And there are things that I'm naturally weak at that you're like, it's your strength. So it's really about coming together as man and woman and recognizing I'm not very good at that, but my husband is. And you like, oh, I'm really good at this. Let me take the lead. And there are some things, even like, I'm like, oh, this is not my thing. My husband's really good at it. And I'll let you do your thing. And recognizing the strengths and the weaknesses and like complimenting each other. Because I feel like sometimes in marriage, a lot of people in marriages are fighting each other because the husband doesn't want the wife to be great, even though they're really gifted or really talented. They want to oppress the wife, or the wife doesn't respect the husband because they're useless at something, or they can't do things around the house. And then there are all these like quarrels because I haven't really understood the strengths and each other's strengths and weaknesses and working together collaboratively, as opposed to just two people in a house with two visions.
It's supposed to be one vision.
And just living separate lives, but married.
Yeah, this is why, for example, if we go back to finances, we'll have to make a part two. If we go back to
Finances is an interesting one.
When we got married,
secret money and all that.
When we got married, you wanted a joint account. I didn't want a joint account.
We're married. Who doesn't have a joint account when you're married?
I didn't want a joint account.
For a good year, we didn't have a joint account.
I did. I would fight it.
No.
When I mean fight it, I would like, I'll cut off the conversation. But when we're now matured, now we have a joint account. Now who's the joint account manager?
Oh my gosh.
Me.
Literally.
Me.
Literally you.
Me. I'm now the boss of the joint account.
Yes.
I did not want to. But now it's like, when I started having a joint account, it just shows transparency. Like whatever money comes in, we have all other separate accounts, but whatever money comes in, we see, okay, this is the money. This is what I've bought. If I send money, I put a reference, I've sent money to this person, or I've done this with money, where it's accountability.
It's a very good word, accountability.
But we'll need to make part two.
And transparency. It's an interesting one.
We'll need to make part two.
Are the differences between men and women?
Yeah.
We haven't talked about.
But let us know in the comment section if you want a part two. Let us know in the comment section. I'll give this time.
Thank you guys for listening in on our discussion between men. Like there's so many things that we could talk about. We haven't talked about sex. We've not talked about all of these other things. So again, let us know in the comments below what your takeaway is, or a reflection, and also if you want a part two, because there are lots of things that we could be talking about in the differences between men and women. Ultimately, the conclusion is God made men and women and he made them different. He made them for a purpose, and it's understanding who is the man, what is the role of a man, what is the role of a woman, instead of fighting each other, but trying to work together. And sometimes it can be challenging. And I think these are the conversations and the transparency of recognizing that we're different, but how can we still work together in marriage or in relationships to thrive? I don't ever want to just have to survive. I want to thrive in marriage, in my relationships with my man. So yeah, thank you for listening, watching. I will see you in the next video.